whakarongo ki te tangi a te kori mako. Kōrero flowing out the hook of force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds, kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nāku nā whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira hira whakarongo pi kari kari mai. Hare hare mai, o Taringa hare hare mai. We gotta gather up close everybody. Gather up close everybody. Kani move that body. Kani move that body.
E ngā manawa nui, e ngā manawa ora, e ngā manawa roa, e ngā manawa reka, e ngā manawa titi, e ngā manawa oi, e ngā manawa piharau, e ngā manawa o te taringa. O ngā taringa, ko are mai nei tēnei hōtaka, tēnei kaupapa tātou, e mihi ana kia koutou. Ko nau mai hoki mai ki tēnei a tātou punua pāhoa taringa, e whakapāho atu nei i te uma, i te poho, i te kōpū o apukura e tūtū mai nei, kei raro hoki nei i te manaakitanga te Wānanga o te roa. O tira, e tautoko he ana pautekaha.
Pautekaha.
E te māngai pāho me te reo irirangi. Irirangi te motu, no re, mihi ana kia koutou. E mihi ana kia koutou katoa ko hoki mai anō tātou ki tēnei kaupapa, ko kupu i tēnei rā, ko kupu, kamatu, ko oho mai koe i tētahi wiki tino whakahirahiro. Ko tēnei wiki he whakatairanga, e whakamana ana i tō tātou reo. Ko te reo, te wiki o te Reo Māori i tēnei wiki, me tō tātou, hara i te mea he manuhiri. Ko ne tētahi o tō tātou pau o tēnei whare. Kia koe e tai e te tuakana, e Jared, tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe e taku rangatira e hei. Tēnā koe e whakai ana. Ko roa au e whakamanuwhiri ngiana e praone. Nā reira, ka pai te rongo atu. Ko noho tangata whenua au i Wānanga nui a koutou. O tira ngai taringa, tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou. Tēnei wiki, te wiki e whakanui ana i te Reo Māori. Ahoe anō, e whakanui o kawana i te Reo Māori. Engari, e mohi ona tātou. Te iwi o ngai taringa e whakanui ana i te Reo Māori. I ngā rangi katoa, i ngā wā katoa. Kia ora tātou.
Koia pū, ao te pō te ao.
Tika.
Ka kiake he rā, hei whaka nui i te Reo Māori ki te iho matua o New Tireni. Ne? Ki te iho matua o New Tireni. Ai. Hono e hoa, mihi ana kia koe, ko hau ka whakawhiti nei i ngā reo e rua, e tahi wā ngā reo e toru, ngā reo e aha nei, e hia nei. Engari, Erica's still on the road. She's going to come rushing in any minute now. However, mā māua ko Jared tēnei kaupapa e timata.
Ka pai.
I te korenga hoki o tō tātou hoa praone. E kai ana, e pōkai ana i ngā whenua o tā wāhi. E haere ana hei huruhuru mo te manu taiko tō tātou tā Timoti no reira. Ngā manaakitanga ki ai o tira, ki tana tira. E haere ana, e toro haere ana ki ngā iwi. Ki o tātou hoa, o tātou whainga o tā wāhi. No reira mihana kia rātou.
Tika. No reira e tai, tēnā tāu i te wiki o te Reo Māori. And you know, e te whānau, I really just want to reflect on an experience that I had last night. And I don't know about you, but I was sitting down and I was watching the documentary about tēnei mea te kaikiri i Pukekohe. So I was sitting down, you know, and I was watching the documentary that was put together about just the racism that our people experienced in Pukekohe not too long ago, e te whānau.
Kia ora.
And, you know, ka rere ngā roimata. And I was sitting there crying to myself because I couldn't believe that people experience that, and it's in living memory. And so, you know, upon reflection and Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori, Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori and exposing Aotearoa whānui to the beauty of the Māori language and all its intricacies actually helps a lot to bridge that gap in racism, because I think a lot of racism comes out of fear.
Koia.
I think a lot of racism comes out of kuare, and I'm going to use the word kuare. And I think being able to share our language and other people's minds and hearts being open to our language, we will never have to see another Pukekohe ever again. Nō reira, koe nei. I rere ngā roi mata me taku ohorere. Engari me pēwhea hoki e kore ai i te rongo ake i ngā kōrero a ngā kui a ngā kaumātua.
Kia ora.
Ia rātou e tamariki ana. And you know, this was one of the shocking things. There's a number of things there, Hoa, and I suggest you watch it.
Yeah.
But in school, they were actually taught how to bow to Pākehā on the street. And that was something that was drilled to them every day as children in the teaching curriculum. So Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori e hoa mā, it's not just the language, it helps us to form Aotearoa, New Zealand, New Tireni, and our community.
Ai, tautoko ana pau te kaha e hoa. And it's important that we reflect on those times and how far we've come, and also just how far we still need to go, ne?
Ai.
So we can remain present, looking back, looking forward at the same time. And, kia tātou, all those, especially our whanaunga, our own whanaunga who are still on the side of the pool, ne? Haven't really dived into Te Reo Māori. This is a time for you to just appreciate your language.
Tika.
And then, hopefully taking the big dive, because it's from those times and experiences our kaumātua had, which makes it harder for some of us to revisit our beautiful language. Ne? It's a big journey, e hoa mai, and this is part of Taringa. This is why we have the likes of MC Grammar here, Jared Boone here, to help us along the way. Get over those internal struggles we have of learning te reo. And, same thing, when I want a cake, I've got to say no. I've got to have some puha, because he pai tonu he pai ake te puha i te keke. And anei te keke kua tai mai nei. Anei te keke kua tai mai nei.
No mai tuahine.
Reiti ahau.
Oh, that's so good.
Hey, e mohe anau, he mātua tātou.
Ai.
Ai.
And, he whaia koe ki ngā mahanga.
Ai. Well, it's more like...
Well, toko toru ke au tamariki.
Ai.
A tātou tamariki. Nō reira, karehe amu i tō tainga. Hare te mea i tūreiti koe, tai mai i te wāteka.
Ai.
I heard you talking about this is all part of it before, and yes, this is all part of my life now. I was already late. Anyway.
No, and me mihi ki ngā māma, and I've got to make this complete before we quickly get into our kiwaha. I got up, I was the first one up this morning.
Yeah.
And it took me 2 hours to get myself ready. And it took 20 minutes for my partner to get our kids ready. And off onto the bus to Putaruru, to Te Wharekura, to Kaukauroa, Pātetere, to get on the bus at 7 a.m.
Wow.
And then she's complaining at me and she's getting our other baby ready. So, kare aku amu, kauke hoki aku whakawā ki ngā māma.
Man.
No nei, haramai.
So,
Apai.
kua tīmata te Mahuru Māori, ne? Me te wiki o te reo.
Koe nei te wiki o te reo Māori. Hei, tēnei praere tonu nei. Hei, te
ka
kaumārima o he petema. Ka hua mai ai whiro. Ka rere mai ai whiro.
Koina.
Koia tēnā ko te timatanga o te marama o Mahuru.
Ka pai.
Ka pai.
I just wanted to share a cool challenge that our kōhungahunga, or the puna reo, that my tamariki go-to are doing for Mahuru Māori. They've already started this week, I guess, for Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori. So, at all the pickups and drop-offs, me noho ki Te Reo Māori I ngā wākato.
Hey,
pai.
Yeah.
Kia pai mai hoki.
Yeah, so that's a cool challenge for us. I was like, yeah, this is one I can do.
Ai.
Mahuru Māori, a bit like Reo Māori I ngā wākato. That's a bit too much for me.
Ai.
But, yeah, I can do this. So, yeah.
Tino pai.
Yeah. Pai. And quickly, create a positive stigma to that, ne?
Tika.
Because people create a stigma of, morena, and then gone.
Ai.
Yeah.
So, kia kaha ngā
Well,
ngā
I had a
māma,
few
ngā pā.
messages that I had to relay to the kaiako this morning
Yep.
because we do kope toi too, and so it rained yesterday while I had most of the washing on the line, so I had to take in some disposables as well. So I needed to relay that message. So on my way to Kohanga, I was like, thinking about it in my head. How am I going to say it?
Yeah.
What's the right words? And so, yeah, I feel like I pulled it off.
Ka pai.
Yeah.
Ka pai.
I was able to relay my messages and, not just say, morena ka kite.
Yeah.
A ka pai, tēnā e hoa mā, kia tahuri tātou ki tā tātou kiwaha I tēnei rā. A ka mutu ko tēnei kiwaha, I rongo au I au e tupu ake ana. So the kiwaha e hoa mā that I want to share today is a kiwaha that I learnt growing up. And of course, it was a kiwaha. It used to grate me, actually, that my grandmother used to use all the time when she was having a dig at me.
Okay.
And of course, the kiwaha that I want to share is mā tēnā ka aha.
Kia ora.
Yeah, mā tēnā ka aha.
Yeah, mā tēnā ka aha. Now, if we're wondering what the translation is, it roughly translates to, what will that achieve?
Kia ora.
So, mā tēnā ka aha. And of course, there's a whole lot of manipulations. You can manipulate the kiwaha, to suit the context of the kōrero. So, you know, I would be sitting there and I would be saying, oh, geez, we've got this pōwhiri on and I should wear this and I should wear that, you know, e pai ai taku hanga. And then, of course, my grandmother would say something like, ha, mā te kākahu ka aha. You know, mā te kākahu ka aha. And I'm like, mā te kākahu ka pai taku āhua. You know, and she would say, well, by you wearing those clothes, what will that achieve?
Ka pai.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and so she started challenging the true intent of why I was going to that pōwhiri. I mean, we know that if we're not wearing the appropriate attire, that will get stripped to bits by the kuia.
Yes.
So that was in the forefront of my mind. But it was a quick reminder saying what actually was the real purpose
Kia ora.
of why you're going to this thing. And I would say things like to her, oh, you know, me tai atu au ki te pōwhiri nei. And then she would say something back like, māu ka aha? You know? Yeah, she would say that. Māu ka aha.
Māu ka
By
aha.
you being there,
Going deep.
what will that achieve?
Oh, hea, tāua e nei whakamahinga e tai. Aha, kua kōrero tia kētia tēnei kiwaha, mā tēnā ka aha, we're looking at some great renderings of this. Eh?
That's right.
You know, so it's great to re-look at this at mā tēnā ka aha in the examples that you have. And he mea rawe ki hau e wa.
Oh, kia ora. Yeah, and you know, we used to use it. Well, actually, it was mostly her. Yeah,
Aye.
Used to use it all the time to challenge me or to have a bit of a dig. And I actually thought it was quite funny, you know. Well, I didn't think the funny bit was māu ka aha. By you being there, what's that going to achieve?
He tere, he koi.
Ai, koina. But you know, ngai taringa, if you know mā tēnā ka aha, and then, of course, you can manipulate the first part of that kiwaha, you know, māu ka aha, you know, just as an example, I could say, well, you know, Praone is coming to the opening of the building, and you could say, mā praone ka aha, you know, and you know, I'm just having a dig at our mate because he's,
Māna ka
yeah,
aha.
māna ka aha, that's right.
Could that sort of be like, and what?
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
And what, you know.
And the same whakaaro, it's the same intention. Yeah.
Just going back over through the necktie saga in Parliament.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know,
Aye.
someone could have said, mā te necktie ka aha.
Aye.
Yeah.
You know, by wearing a tie, what would that achieve? Well, actually, the real purpose of Parliament is to wear. We're not going to get political, but that's just an example of how we could use our kiwaha.
Aye.
Yeah.
Nō reira, he whakaaro o kōrua?
Mai era atu pāti ka aha.
E, koina.
O tētahi taha o te whare. Hoino, ka waiho.
Yeah, bueno. Nō reira, koe nei tā tātou kiwaha I te rangi nei e te whānau, ne? Mā tēnā ka aha, what will that achieve? And then, of course, depending on our knowledge of te reo Māori, māu ka aha, you know, by you being there, what will that
And
achieve?
manipulate it in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aye.
Nā reira, it's a good segue, actually, into the kaupapa that I want us to discuss.
Okay.
So when we're having a look at the kiwaha māu ka aha, let's use that way, or māna ka aha, you know, what will he achieve or what will you achieve? It actually leads us into the kaupapa that I want to speak about, which is actor emphatics.
Actor emphatic.
Okay.
Yeah, actor emphatics.
All these big technical terms,
Sounds like
man,
I'm a
every
fire starter.
time.
Actor emphatic. Actor insane.
Yep.
Oh, how does it get?
Yeah, I know the song you're talking about. But anyway.
So when we have a look at actor emphatics, yeah, it is a big flash word, but when you decide to have a look, well, actor, so we're talking about the person who's carrying out the mahi.
Right, and are we
Right.
emphasising the actor?
That's it.
Oh.
That's it. E
That's
kare.
what emphatic means.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
That's
that's my
right.
new rap name. MC Actor emphatic. Actor emphatic. Yeah.
Nō reira, e te tiro ana tātou ki te whakaputa I te kaimahi I roti I te rerenga. So, you know, being able to emphasise the actor. And we use it all the time. But I thought what we will do is, in Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori, the majority of resources that are being produced actually for newbies or beginners, you know, or people who have a little experience in Te Reo Māori and helping them to take that next step. But actually, from my experience, I don't see a lot of material being put out there during Māori Language Week that helps to inspire the people that are doing the inspiring.
Koina te wero. Koina te wero. Ia te tau.
Koina. Nō reira, so I thought when we're having a look at actor emphatics, let's have a look at actor emphatic from a beginner's level,
Okay.
from an intermediate level,
Okay.
and from an advanced level. So hopefully there's something in there for Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori for all our Taringa listeners out there.
Ka pai.
So when we're talking about actor emphatics there, Hoa Mā, we're talking about the Māku and the Nāku.
Kia ora.
Yeah? So those are the actor emphatics. And we realised that the actor emphatics, Nāku, it focuses on the actor as opposed to the action. So who did something?
Okay, yep.
And we know that Māku is married to the e.
Yep.
Ka pai. So as an example, Māku te keke e tunu.
Kia ora.
Yeah. So we know that Māku and e is used for the future tense.
All right.
Who will do something.
All right.
And then we've got Nāku, and of course all its whanaunga there, Nāku, Nāu, Nāna,
E.
and the e, to talk about the past tense. So, Māku te keke e tunu, Nāku te keke I tunu.
Kia ora.
So I will bake the cake. Nāku te keke I tunu, I baked the cake.
Ka pai.
Now, kei te pai tērā, I think those of our Taringa listeners and everyone out there who have started learning the actor emphatics, I think they're pretty familiar with the structure, so to speak. Ne? The Māku and the e, the Nāku and the e.
Kia ora.
But there are some instances where, even at a beginner's level, there are some things that I think need to be further explained.
Kia ora.
So the first thing I want to explain from a beginner's level is the rationale behind why I structure the sentence the way I do.
Okay.
So as an example, I would say, let's go back to the cake. I think poor Heidi and I were talking about cake before, and then our cake walked in,
Yes.
Erica. So let's stick to the cake. So we've got Māku te keke e tunu. So we know that we've got the Māku first, and then I've actually put the object in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did we do? So of course the cake, and then the action comes at the end. Now for me, and for our beginners out there who are not experienced in this type of sentence structure, I would phrase it that way because if you add in what's called the direct object marker, which is another little e, if you add that into the sentence, it actually becomes incorrect.
Kia ora.
So you can't say Māku e tunu I te keke. So you can't say Māku e tunu I te keke.
Right.
Because if you phrase your structure that way, our Māori ears want to put that e in.
Yeah.
But if you phrase it this way, Māku te keke e tunu, it closes this doorway to any opportunity for that direct object marker
Oh, kia ora.
to be put into your... Because you wouldn't say, Māku I te keke e tunu, would you?
Aye.
No.
But it sounds okay if you were to say, Māku e tunu I te keke.
Aye.
It sounds okay, but that's still incorrect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Because you may trigger a habit
That's right.
of speaking if you were to stack your language that way. So what you're saying is to restack it so it sort of cuts that habit, ne?
That's exactly right.
Kia ora.
Yeah.
I used to have that habit. I like to acknowledge how far I've...
Tēnā koe.
Yeah, I think I've gotten into a habit of just dropping E's and keys all together because I get mixed up on which is which, so I just drop them all.
Yeah, yeah.
You just drop them all.
And you
Okay.
go colloquial.
Yeah.
But he paitera e hoa, paitera
But hang on.
whakaro.
Just want to ask about, so that incorrect sentence.
Yes.
Because
You would just say, Māku
Māku te keke
e tunu.
e tunu.
Or you could say, Māku e tunu te keke. Aye.
Yep.
But you see how alluring it could be to put that e in there if you structure it the second way. So
Yeah.
that's why I
Because
suggest...
then it
Ko
kind
ke
of
he rere
like
ke tanga?
reminds me of those stative sentences
Yes,
when you put the e.
Ah,
Because then
that's right. A stative is
Hey.
another kōrero. Aye.
You have just shown a development in your understanding of E.
Tēnā
You just
koe.
used the state of... Yeah.
Oh yeah, I actually know what one of those words means.
Koia.
Yes, yes.
Aye.
Yes, I hear you now. So that was like how you said it before. Māku e tunu
keke.
I te keke. Is that what you said before?
Yes, that's right. Aye.
If I heard that, I'll kind of be thinking, oh, so now is he saying the cake baked me?
Well, yeah. So the way that I suggest, Māku te keke e tunu, it closes off all opportunity to put that e in, all those things in there.
Yeah.
And similarly with the Nāku te keke I tunu. So that's my suggestion for our beginners out there, how to structure their actor emphatic sentences.
Right, so
E pai.
to make sure you have the action at the end.
Aye.
And because ka noho,
Yep.
ka piri te... Tō tātou kupu mo te I me te e.
Yep.
E rā
Yep.
whakatakatanga
Koina.
e tai. Yeah.
Okay.
Aye.
And also, there's no differences, ne? If I say
Kao.
Māku e tunu te keke, so there's no
Kareka.
differences. You're not emphasising anything else.
No.
Right.
Koina te take o te active emphatic e.
Ka pai.
Yeah.
And that's why, in terms of the actor emphatics, the emphasis is always on the actor by the use of the Nāku, the Māku, so on and so forth.
Kia ora.
Okay.
And that's just one rule that I wanted to clarify at a beginner's level.
Yeah. He hack pai tēnei e hoa mā.
Yeah, koina. The next kaupapa I want to have a I'm hoping it's going to be an easy conversation, but it may not be depending on some of the questions that we may have.
Once you say easy, once you say easy.
Yeah. So within our actor emphatics, there's a number of classes of verbs that we have.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about transitive verbs.
Kia ora.
Okay, what are those?
If you didn't see it, te whānau, Erica officially rolled her eyes again. Yeah.
And I
going,
gave her the high shoulders and like,
Nāku.
I don't know either.
Nāku, ngā karu, I huri.
Irora. So a transitive verb, is a verb that uses a direct object, kapai, or actually it shows what receives the action. So we know that tunu is a transitive verb. So nāku te keke I tunu, because the cooking directly affects the cake.
Kia ora.
So that's a transitive verb. So there's a transition there.
Oh, okay, because it's going
Yeah,
from
there's a
not
transition
cooked to
there.
cooked. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's an action that happens and there's a result of it. In
okay,
this.
There's a result. Yeah. So that's what a transitive verb is. And to try and make it easier for our whānau out there, within our actor emphatics, we can only really use transitive verbs.
Kia ora.
So to say nāku I haere, which I've heard a lot,
Kia ora.
that's actually an incorrect sentence.
Kia ora, pai tēnei kōrero. Yes.
Because haere is not a transitive verb.
Right, it's continuous, sort of.
Yeah, your travels or going somewhere doesn't actually directly affect anything else. So there's no receiver of that action. There's a doer of the action, but there's no receiver of the action.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would say, nāku I haere ki te toa. I went to the shop. But because haere is not a transitive verb, it's an intransitive verb, you actually can't say it that way.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like when someone says, ko ai e haere, and then someone will say māku,
Yeah.
because they're actually translating the I will, whereas that's the wrong use of the actor
would you have
emphatic.
to say ko au?
Ka pai.
Or ko ai e haere, ko au, ka haere au. Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Wow.
And that's the correct way to say it.
Or what about mahi, like māku e mahi?
Ka pai, māku e mahi. Because to do something, and so māku e mahi ngā kākahu.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll do the clothes. So we know that the clothes are going to be receiving the action of whatever mahi is.
Okay.
But haere and hikoi,
Aye.
māku e hikoi ki te toa. Well, that's not a transitive verb. It's an intransitive verb. So, ko au ka hikoi ki te toa. Ko ai ka hikoi ki te toa. Ko ai e haere. Ko au e haere.
Ka hoki anō ki te ture, kia hāngai tō whakautu ki te pātai. Koina te tīwhiri tuatahi.
Koina.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're answering māku with a ko, want to reconsider your answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, tika tēnā. And the reason why I wanted to explain it is because a lot of people learning the actor emphatics, right from the beginning, they think that all verbs are appropriate.
Oh, I didn't know there was a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now we know, ne?
Now I
Ko
know.
mōna tātou e
Just
nāne.
quickly, I don't want to cut your whakaro off. Just quickly, I think it's because our learners are just coming from rere mahi.
Ai,
So only pea kei reira o rātou whakaro.
that's right.
Ko mau i te whakaro o te rere mahi. Yeah, so yeah.
E mihi anau ki tō rātou kaha ki te whakamahi e nei rerenga. So, I don't want to try and put anyone off, but there's stages in our knowledge of how to use these actor emphatics. And I think it's a good discussion to have now.
Yeah, he pai tērā. I remember going through these things because you learn a bit and you just get confident, adventurous in trying it until, you either correct it or you find out later, like tātari mōku, era whakaro, because you start using, because you think that's the
Wait for
shorter
me.
way or the quick way to say it.
Yeah.
But you've sort of missed a bit of the concept of what the actor emphatic is, yeah.
Wow.
Ai.
Thank you, Jared.
So that's sort of our beginner's level e hoa
I feel
ma.
like Kaioko probably tried to explain this to us in class and I never got it. But now I know that there's different verbs.
Yes,
Aye.
yeah, the transitive and intransitive.
Aye.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of type of verbs out there, but this is probably the most appropriate verb to talk about because it directly affects our actor emphatic sentences.
Ka pai.
So that's our beginner's level, le te whānau. That was just beginners.
I thought we'd gone from beginners into intermediate.
Nah,
already.
we're just in the, we're kei te puna wheku.
No reira, just to have a conversation about our intermediate level and the use of some actor emphatics. And I've experienced this with some of my own tauira. It just blew their mind that you could actually say it this way. And the example I want to give is Nōku i te kura.
Aye.
Yeah. So Nōku i te kura.
Is that like when I was at school?
While I was at school.
While
That's exactly
I
right.
was at school.
Ka pai. So while I was at school, when I was at school, Nōku i te kura. Now, most of us would know iau i te kura. But when we start having a look at Nōku i te kura, well, a lot of our learners out there will think Nōku, well, Nōku belongs to me. Yeah, or nō i te kura, while you were at school.
Right.
But Nōku i te kura, Nōku i tā wāhi, while I was overseas. You know, the translation is while or when I was at, so on and so forth. Hoeno. The reason why I wanted to bring this up, it actually links back to our discussion that we had with uri.
Aye.
When we had a discussion about uri in our a and o categories and in terms of whakapapa, and how I explained that, well, actually, uri is in the o category because there's an element of time that's attached to the word. And that was my, koinei tuku whakamārama.
Yeah.
Now, when you have a look at Nōku, we're not actually talking about possession. Nōku, once again, is talking about time, but time in relation to whoever's been spoken about. So there's a correlation there between time and the o, and this is just another example of where we can see that in our reo.
Okay.
Because I went to watch let's just say I was watching something on TV, and I heard te uri a, ngā uri a. I thought, I just want to bring this up again. Ka pai. Because when we have a look at, even with a lot of our iwi names, te uri o hau. Yeah.
Oh.
So there's a classic example there with an iwi name, how we know that uri was in the o, it's related to time.
Yeah.
Just like this example of our active emphatics, Nōku i te kura, Nōku i tā wāhi. While I was at kura, while I was overseas, it's all directly related to time.
Kia ora.
Yeah?
Okay, I'm still confused on how a uri is related to time. Because it's a descendant.
Yes, and there's a time factor with uri.
Whakapapa timeline.
Yeah, whakapapa timeline.
Yeah, just hold it in that. Hang out with that bit.
Okay.
Yeah, hang out with that bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I refer you to episode whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for our intermediate speakers out there, it's a good variation to iau i te kura, Nōku i te kura, and if you're asking, well, why is it Nōku? We know that there is a time element attached there. Always in the past tense. You can't say Mōku. I don't even know how you phrase that.
Mōku hei te kura?
Oh, God. I don't know.
It might become gospel.
Okay,
So
that's good to know.
Ka pai, nō reira koe tērā. And for our more experienced speakers out there,
Quickly, so there's no difference as well. So when you're saying Nōku i te kura, iau i te kura, kārehe rerekētanga?
I wouldn't actually be too picky. Yeah, so it's still on that time factor.
While I was at school.
Yeah.
I've always hesitated to use either or hesitated to use Nōku just in case I'm actually emphasizing something else.
Right.
So that's what I want to confirm. And if it's just a time factor, e pai ana tēnā.
Koina, well, kia au nei, it's just the time factor that's the Nōku, ka pai.
And the other use of Nōku, have I heard it right or wrong when you've said, i te kōrero au, i te tū au ki te i te kōrero au, nō e tākoro ana ki tō waia.
So while
I was speaking while you were on your phone.
Koina, ai.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And e tika ana tēnā whakamahinga.
Ka pai.
Because, nō e kori ana ki tō waia or whatever you're going to say, it's still while you were. So that's still that time factor there. And actually, that's a really good example where you can use this in the middle of a sentence.
Ka pai.
Tēnā koe, hei,
it
he
is.
rawe tēnā.
Aye.
So it's not necessarily always at the beginning of a sentence.
Aye.
Yeah, but because he's put some context in front of it, that sort of...
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Tika.
cool. Nōku i te kura, so while I was at school,
Aye.
if I took out that e
Yes.
and just said Nōku te kura, am I saying this is my school?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tika.
You
So
are either a kaimahi or a tauira of that school.
Aye.
Koe ia I Nōku ai.
And so the e is that you really need that e in that example.
That's exactly right.
To show there's some sort of action in there.
Yeah. It either says
Being I
Emphasis
was
on the
at
time.
school.
it either says you're too young or you're too old.
Aye. And of course, we can Nōku i te kura, nō mātou i te kura.
Aye.
Nō mātou ko taku whānau i te kura.
Aye.
So there's a whole lot of ways you can
No
manipulate
taku
that
kuia
kōrero.
I te kura I
Aye,
pēnei rātou.
tēnā koe.
Aye.
Okay, our last one e te whānau for the fancy pants speakers out there, ne? And it's the use of Nāna and Māna.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There's times, ka pai, where we can use Nāna or Māna to actually, well, let me put it to you, ne? Takupātai ki a kōrua, how te tikanga o te kupu Nāna? How te whakapākehātanga o te kupu Nāna?
He did or she did.
Nā tētahi,
Ai,
tētahi mahi I whakatutuki.
ka pai, koina. Engari, tokowhia ngā tāngata e kōrero tiana. So when we use Nāna, how many people are we actually speaking about?
Ki taku mōhioranga ko tahi nahe nahe.
Yeah.
Ai.
One.
Oh, I love that nahe nahe e hoa. I've said that before. That's how cool. Yeah, but you're exactly right. So when we're using the word Nāna, the majority of the time we're speaking about just one person. But here's an instance where actually that's not the case.
Kia ora.
So I could say, and I'll put it out there, Erica, kei whea a Ngāti Maniapoto, nāna nei ngā kōrero I wāhi.
Ai.
So kei whea a Ngāti Maniapoto, nāna nei ngā kōrero I wāhi.
So you're saying they, we're Ngāti Maniapoto.
Yep.
They, what you said, Nāna, eh? Or Māna.
Yes, that's right. Nāna.
Oh, they did.
Yeah. Ka pai, who opened the speeches, ne?
Who opened the speeches, yeah.
Yeah, who opened the speeches?
Oh, they opened the speeches.
Yeah.
Right, but because you've said like already we're a Ngāti Maniapoto, so you're already referring to a bunch of people.
That's right.
So
Ka
then
tika.
I guess that gives the clue that Nāna is meaning more than just one person.
That's right. It's referring back to that group of people.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily, so speakers of today would say, kei whea Ngāti Maniapoto, nā rātou nei ngā kōrero I wāhi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how speakers of today would phrase the sentence. When actually, when we go back to our native speakers, they would use Nāna.
Yeah.
Nāna to reference back to a group of people,
Yeah.
which can be quite confusing for a lot of our more confident speakers out there.
Yeah. But I guess because it's a group, even though the group has many people in it, it's a singular group.
Yeah.
Like it's one group.
Ai,
He whakakotahi, koina oku whakaro.
Yeah.
ka pai.
Pēnei I te māngai pāho, nā te māngai pāho anō tēnei kaupapa I Manaki, I tautoko.
Ka pai. So, when you have a look at that, and tino pai tā kōrua whakamarama, when we have a look at that, that's a sentence that's more easily understood because we know that we're talking about a group of people like Maniapoto, like te māngai pāho, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But of course, it can be used in a more harder to accept, I suppose, structure. And I'll use the word Māna. So, ko wai mā ngā kaiako, Māna ngā tamariki e whakangungu.
Kia ora.
Ko wai mā ngā kaiako, Māna ngā tamariki e whakangungu. Yeah? So who are the teachers?
Yeah.
Who are the teachers
Teachers.
that will train the students? Yeah. So that is a correct sentence. Now, the difficulty here is going,
So tamariki.
yeah, well, we're speaking about ngā kaiako.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're speaking about ngā kaiako.
Oh, right.
So ko wai mā ngā kaiako, Māna ngā tamariki e whakangungu. So it's harder for our ears to accept
Right.
ngā kaiako with the Māna
Ai.
Okay.
because we haven't grouped them as in like Ngāti Maniapoto or te māngai pāho. That's more
Right.
easily accepted. But I tēnei
Groupings
tauira,
after
he
a
rereke.
ngā is still counted.
Ai,
Yeah, pai. Pai
Yeah.
tēnei.
Like kei he ngā mātua,
yes,
Māna ngā tamariki e tiaki.
Pai.
ka rawe.
That's still confusing.
Well, I would suggest that's even more difficult to accept because by the use of ngā mātua in itself is a word that we know is plural.
Yeah, but it can also be a singular if you're only referring to a matua.
Well, that's matua, but we used mātua.
Mātua, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we know that the word by itself is plural. Then you go, kei whea ngā mātua or ko wai ngā mātua, so on and so forth, and then you put mana.
Yeah.
Pai.
So mana is used, it's called a relative clause, ka pai.
In this, I roto I tēnei
In this
whakamahinga.
context,
Koina. Kia ora.
I roto I tēnei
Relative context,
whakamahinga.
marama.
And a relative clause, it's because,
Haere au I te marama.
well, it's because it's referring back to a person
Yeah.
or people that are responsible for an action.
Yeah. Me nei, tika ana taku reo Pākehē, me ana, where are these parents to whom
Koina,
will look after these kids?
koira.
Okay.
That will, or
That
who
are responsible for these
Yeah,
children.
yeah.
Aye. And relative clauses,
E tika, e pai, e ahei ana tēnei tauira, kei he ngā mātua, nāna e nei tamariki.
ai,
Aia.
I te reo tawhito ai.
So, like, who are the
Ai,
parents
te reo tawhito
of
ai.
these children? Or nah?
Kōrero mai anō e hei?
Kei hea ngā mātua, nāna e nei tamariki.
That's right, yep. Where are the parents
These children
who
belong to
are
them.
responsible? Yeah, where?
Yeah.
To whom
Or who
these
had
children
kid-
belong.
or to whom
Okay.
they belong to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, he tauira pai nei, and I think it'll be challenging for a lot of our more fluent speakers out there to first accept and then secondly to actually use.
Yeah.
Ne?
Ka hono taku pere atu ki te nā rātou.
Ai.
Nā rātou, mā rātou. Yeah.
So, nō reira, he wero tēnei ki te hunga o ngā i Taringa e kaha ana te reo. Nā, i te wiki o te reo Māori, me Mahuru Māori e kainamu mai nei, tērā pia whakamātauria tēnei momo whakamahinga o te Māna o te Nāna, hei wero anō, mā koutou, hei kawe ake mā koutou. So, you know, I'm just putting the challenge out there to our more confident speakers in Taringa to try and use this, another use of Māna, another use of Nāna, ka pai, and to sort of like challenge their, is dexterity the word that I want to use? I'm not too sure. But, you know, the different range of sentences at their disposal.
Pai. It's like when you get a hammer, ne? And you use it just to hammer nails. And then one day you realise that the claw on the back of it is to help pull the nails down. You're actually learning there are more uses to the tool that you have.
Deconstructing.
Tika.
You know, you're just learning other ways to use the
this
tool that
tool.
you...
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes. But yeah, tāho e nei kōrero katoa e hoa ma.
Yeah.
And I guess the challenge for us, or the something happier than challenge, for us is to use these te wiki o te reo. Ne? Koutou mā pēnei te mā. You know, me whai kawhia hau i te ata nei. Mā te kawhe ka aha.
Koina.
You know, you already had it, you know. I better put some makeup on. Mā te pani kanohi ka aha.
Yeah. Ka mutu e pēnei ana taku kōrero ki a koutou. Mā te noho hānea i te reo, ka aha.
Kia ora.
Yeah.
So, you know,
just sitting comfortable.
being comfortable in our capabilities, what will that achieve?
What will that achieve? Ai.
Nō reira, if our beginners can give it a go in Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori, then our intermediate and our advanced speakers can give something else a go, so we're all on the language journey i tēnei wiki.
Kia ora.
Nō reira, kua nui aku pahu e taima?
Can I just quickly ask you, back to those transitive verbs. So, hari and kawe, they're not transitive verbs, are they?
Yes, they are.
Oh,
because
okay.
you're actually...
What are you
Or
carrying?
taking something from one place to another.
That's exactly right.
Cool, because I was just thinking, I could have probably used the nāku, the nā-i sentence this morning.
That's right. Tika tēnā.
And that is a preview to another kupu e te iwi, because transitive and intransitive are hard for me. Well, I know the examples, but I couldn't explain them.
Ai.
E moe, e tu, e oho. That's how I know them.
Ka pai. Yep, tērā pe he kaupapa anō. Hey, wete mā tātou.
Aye.
Something for us to get into.
Ka pai.
And hey, I want to give a shout out to my teina tūraukawa Bartlett, who uses Taringa and kupu as a major resource for his tauira.
Ka pai.
And
Oh, choice.
ko tana hea kia rongo nei i ngā rā weke o te kupu kau. Hoi no, hei a kua nei, me te koa, te kupu
Ai,
koa.
ai.
Hei raurangi pia, hei Wānanga anō mā tātou.
Ai, ko te tihi atu anō o ngai Taringa e hi ana ki te ruku atu, ki te ruku atu ki ngā retotanga o e nā kupu e tai. So kia hoki mai a praone, nei tā wāhi. Yeah, he really does want to get into
Kau. He always
and
brings
koa.
up kau.
Koa,
Yeah, he does. And I'm trying to sidestep, but it's going to be an interesting kaupapa.
Aye.
So yeah, let's try and put that
Mā
on our
tātou
agenda.
tērā, ai, pai.
Mā te sidestep ka aha.
You just turn up on time next time, Erica.
Touché. Piro.
Tēnā tātou i Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori. Taku wero ki a koutou, kia kōrero tia te reo.
Kia ora.
Te reo e mōhio ana koe, mehe he wero kei mui o koutou waruwaru, tēnā. You know, I just really want to encourage all our speakers out there, especially in Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori, give it a go e te whānau. Yeah, give it a go. And of course, if you want to challenge yourselves, even better. Nō reira, koe nei au e mihi nei. Kia pai te toenga o Te Wiki e te whānau, Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori, tēnā koutou.
Tēnā koe.
Kia ora tātou.
Kia ora tātou.
Kia ora, Jared.
Au e, mā te waiata o Te Wiki. Mā te waiata o Te Wiki e whakaora i a tātou.
Yes.
E whaka hoki nei i ngā akoranga whakakona mai e Jared I tēnei rā.
Ai, so would this make sense? Whakatika mai. Ko wai te tira waiata, Māna tēnei kaupapa e... What word am I looking for?
Tautoko.
E tautoko.
Ai, tika.
So
Kia hauna e tika ana.
Okay.
Ko wai tēnei rōpū, ko ORA, Origin Roots Aotearoa, e mihi ana kia koe e taku tuakana e Eugene, nau I whakai mai. Kia whakamanahia ai tēnei kaupapa e tā koutou waiata. A tuakiritanga, no reira koutou mā whakarongo mai.
Tēnā koe, Jared. I just learned heaps.
Ai. Mihi ana kia koe tai.
No, me purua te moko.
Yeah, me purua
Lock
te
that into my brain.
Yeah. But that's the thing about active emphatics. So sometimes you might start a long ass sentence and you might go nā, and then you might forget that you started at nā, and then you've got to tie it up. You've got to finish that sentence.
Yeah.
Nā rātou te kaupapa o te matatini I tāmaki, and you've got to like finish it I whakahaere.
Yes.
You know,
yeah, I was like, oh, was that the I tāmaki? No.
No, yeah,
No.
see, that's all correct because that's locative, all that stuff. But yeah, the last one was interesting. Nāna and Māna, that's interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. See, what I think is like making apparent whakaaro Māori in our reo.
Yeah.
Because like people that are learning, we're actually sometimes just translating our Pākehā whakaaro.
Yeah.
This is why it's hard when we learn a concept and then the concept sort of changes because we're stuck in the idea of it from a Pākehā or an English
lens.
Yeah, English language lens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So especially the Nōku, it still gets me.
For learners too, like, well, for myself, I know, like, while learning, like in a classroom kind of setting, you know, and you do all the rere mahi and you learn all the structures, and then you are just translating, and then that step though where it goes from just trying to translate what you're trying to say into now how do I whakaaro Māori this? I think that shows a big shift, a big pivot in your learning.
Yeah, because like when you're learning any language, you're shifting a paradigm, you're shifting your worldview, you know?
Yeah.
To really understand any language, you've got to actually, well, once, you know, go through learning the structures and stuff, but then eventually there's got to be a shift in outlook and worldview, you know. That's the beauty of it.
That's the beauty of learning languages.
That's the beauty of learning languages.
Learning
you get to understand
worldview.
Yeah, understand another people's idea of the world.
Yeah.
Oh, there was something else. No,
There's always something else.
There's always something else, yeah. But nā, e mihi ana kia koe tuahine, I tai tika mai.
Thank you.
I tai tika mai. O te rā kia koutou katoa ngai Taringa. E te tuahine me mihi tāua kia ngai Taringa, nāna tēnei kaupapa I whakanui.
Yes. Nāna tēnei kaupapa I whakanui.
Ai, tika. Nō reira mihi ana kia koutou katoa. O te rā kia au ki tā tātou. Kia au ki tāu e hia ai mo tēnei wiki o te reo. Hei te mahuru, ka rewa mai ai taua kaupapa. Hei kaupapa mā tātou. Nā tātou anō. See, can you say Nāku now? See, no, don't even start.
What were you going to say? Nā tātou anō.
Tēnei kaupapa a tātou Nāku I tīmata.
Oh my gosh.
Nah.
You've lost me.
Yeah, I'm lost. Don't listen to me, guys. Oh no. E mihi ana kia koutou katoa, kia noho ai koutou I roto I te haumarutanga, te wāhingaro, me te oranga tonutanga o tō tātou reo. Hei kona mai.
Hei kona.
Bit whakaronga, bit kari. Gather up close, everybody, buddy. Taringa. Yeah, tahuri mai ki au. Whakarongo ki te tangi a te kori mako. Kōrero flowing at the hook of force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds. Kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nāko nā whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira. Whakarongo pi kari mai. Hare mai, o Taringa, hare mai. We gotta gather up close, everybody. Gather up close, everybody. Kani move that body. Kani move that body.
Taringa. He mea tuku nā te Wānanga o Aotearoa, nā te māngai pāho me irirangi te motu I tautoko. To listen to more episodes, search for us on your podcast app and subscribe, or follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Taringa. Whakarongo mai.